Story time. Okay, so a while ago, I was seeing this guy, and we were dating, we were seeing each other, whatever. And one time he came over for a sleepover, right? And so we had our sleepover, we did our sleepover activities, and he asked me a really, really good question after, you know, our sleepover. And he was like, babe, out of curiosity, where do I rank? Because of course, what every guy is dying to know, right? And so, I mean, I liked the guy, and he was nice and whatever the case is, but I'm also not gonna like fucking inflate a man's ego and blow his head up because that's all they need, right? So I told him like, oh, you're definitely up there, but he was like, no, like give me a number. And at this point, I'm just like, I like the guy. I'm like, oh, you rank like 2 or 3. 2 or 3, I told him. And he's like, oh, cool. Out of how many? And I told him how many. It was more than 2 or 3, right? I think I told him like 6 or something out of 6, right? Which I think it's like pretty good. It's you know, top 2, top 3, whatever. And he was like, okay, cool, thanks. I was like, all right, cool. And of course, I had this super, super great idea of asking him the same question, which, by the way, ladies, there's never any fucking need to ask that question because 1, why do we care? And 2, why do we care, right? But I asked him the same question. I was like, oh, okay, well, babe, out of curiosity, like, where do I rank? He's like, oh yeah, you're in the number 3 spot for sure. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Top 3, I mean, whatever. I don't really give a shit. But then I asked him, okay, cool, I'm like, you know, number 3, whatever. Out of how many? He's like, out of 3. That's on me for even asking the fucking question to begin with. That's on fucking me. I should have known, like, what do I expect? For play stupid games, win stupid prizes, and that was a stupid fucking question. Anyway, needless to say, I'm not seeing this person anymore. But moral of the story, ladies, there's never a fucking need to ask these stupid fucking questions.
Any man who asks a woman, where do I rank, is probably the most insecure and immature man therein. I don't ask questions like that for a few reasons. Maybe I don't care about your past or want to hear it because we are not going anywhere, and maybe the same question always comes back, and ironically they never like what they hear. There is no need to ask those questions on every encounter because with every individual, it is always a little bit different, and he has the pros and cons. Why didn't you tell him the truth? Because there are like 25 or 30 guys out there. Any man who must ask, where do I rank, doesn't even make the ranking list. You will know how you rank when your woman is passed out in the last position you had her in and then wakes up to make you food. As a man, you should never have to ask these type of questions. You could know by how she naturally inflates your ego without having to ask and embracing her natural femininity. Don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to because everyone wants the truth until the truth comes out. She didn't even care until she cared.
Well, that's the thing. I don't date men that make money from social media.
You already told me you don't date broke men out there in the back. That's bullshit. What if this guy's a construction worker, hard-ass working dude? He's a man works his ass off.
No.
The guy's working his ass off every day. You only date rich men. That's what you said. You only date rich men. Stop.
Don't date broke men. I wouldn't date a broke man.
Why not? Why wouldn't you date a broke
because
man? What if
it's
he had all
hard
this
out
shit
there in the
together?
streets. I need to be taken care of. Broke men are so bitter. They're so mean and they're insecure as fuck.
Damn.
They're so insecure.
I have the utmost respect for guys. No, that's the difference. Because in your world, what you consider a broke man would be like a firefighter. For instance, like a guy's a firefighter, you look at and be like, hey, he's a broke man, you know?
That's not true.
Well, but I'm saying, are you basing it off of like this, right? Are you basing it off a guy who's gonna buy you these necklaces and these fucking materialistic shit that don't even matter in life? Excuse me.
What does a guy gotta make bare minimum for you then? A year.
No, don't ask me that.
Tries to be fucking nuts as you have this conversation about bare minimum for money. Money shouldn't matter.
I don't
should be about real life, real feelings, real fucking people.
Of course.
You're just a fake, living a fake life.
That makes a year.
Yes. Or you can say monthly, whatever you prefer.
Monthly. like $1 million a month.
Okay.
Right,
a million a month.
$1 million a month somebody's gonna make.
How would she know what they are like if she don't date broke men? This generation is beyond cooked, and dating is also doomed. Social media has ruined expectations. I think broke men are some of the realest people out there because they can't hide their lameness behind money, fashion, etc., and broke shaming them don't usually end well. I could be the richest man on the planet, and I would never go near a rat with an attitude like that. Hope your Botox serves you well. Love isn't a feeling anymore. It is a transaction and now a struggle, and be happy than rich and be unhappy type of thing. So basically, NFL or NBA players are what she is looking for. I understand that women want to be taken care of financially, but the whole aspect of actual love is no longer there. American women wonder why they are becoming less desirable. They try to belittle men for traveling to find a partner and label them passport bro. Western women are delusional. These girls don't realize the guys they want are the top 1% and will never have a relationship with them, or if they do, they will be side pieces. It is hard out there in these streets. Delusion is crazy and love is gone in this world. These women are lost souls. Women don't know what they want. Just focus on yourself, kings, because they are not worth the penny.
Yes, women can be delusional, but men's delusion is different. Because when they are delusional, it gets scary because they put themselves in situations that would never happen. And it makes you really have to question their mental health. Whenever I upset men and they start like attacking me and telling me how they would never deal with me, they would never want me, they would never be with me, it gets scary because I'm trying to figure out how in your mind did you ever think that that could even happen in the first place? How could you ever think that you would be in a position to turn me down? Right? That scares me. That scares me that you think that you would have ever had the opportunity to tell me no. And it ain't just me. I'm constantly watching men get online and talk about women that they never could even get next to and how they would turn these women down or how they don't want these women. When realistically, we all know that if they ever got the chance to even smell the seat of where that woman was sitting at, they'd be on it, right? But for some reason, they insecurities and the delusion and they messed up heads make them lash out at these women who they know they could never have. And they say mean things and they create these fantasies in their head of turning down these women when that would never even happen. All right. It's beautiful women that I see online all the time. And I'm just thinking to myself when I read in them comments where these men are trying to humble these women, there's no way that you think that you could ever even be next to this lady. Right? Like you could ever have the opportunity to turn her down. Look at who you end up with. Right? You see these you see these guys' girlfriends and wives. There's no way you think that we believe that you would turn down these gorgeous, beautiful women just to be with what you end up with. A lot of y'all, you doing 3s and 4s on the daily, right? That's what you pulling, 3s and 4s. And somehow you think that these 9s and 10s you would turn down if you ever had the opportunity to do it? Be for real. Nobody believes you, right? You don't even believe you, right? I don't even know what kind of pep talk you give yourself before you go into these comment sections venting or making these videos lying through your teeth like you would ever have the opportunity to turn down some of these women that you always talking about. There's a certain level of fine that you have to be in order for me to value the opinion that you have about me. There's no way for me to care about you not wanting me if I don't find you attractive, right? Why would I care about what an ugly man got to say about me? A man that I would never want, a man that I'm not attracted to. Why would I care if he don't think that I'm attractive? I don't want you in the first place. Why would your opinion matter about what I look like? Whether or not you want me. Y'all got to start really thinking about this kind of stuff. That doesn't make any sense. If you don't reach the level of attractive that I think is fine, then don't even think that your insult could ever impact me.
This same delusion applies to women who think they can pull every guy. You can only pull what you qualify for. 10s, 3s, 9s, and 4s are all subjective because beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, but I would rather have a peace of mind with a 3 than have migraine headache with a 10. Why would I smell someone's seat? Social media and dating apps have put women in the same rooms with men they would never see in real life. That's why they think they have a chance with all men. A lot of women conflate their personal value assessment of themselves and expect everyone around them to see them on how they see themselves. Those women need to be humbled. It seems that she is blaming men for what she does to herself. Problem is that there are a lot of average women who think they are dimes. Men prefer to compliment and admire confident and accomplished women. If truth is getting you down, maybe you should start surrounding yourself with compulsive liars, because men are the prize and can get whatever they want as long as they put their mind in it.
Men will see a beautiful, confident woman and they'll want to tear her down. They will want to humble her. And they'll say things like, oh, you're actually not that attractive. Oh, you're actually just a 5 out of 10, so don't get too cocky.
This couldn't be further from the truth. Yes, there are some men out there. Why do we always have to paint it as all men? I know a lot of men who would never do something like that. And in some cases, the only reason they would do that if she genuinely is being cocky or she's genuinely going around putting down men, and then yeah, men are going to defend themselves. Why wouldn't they? There are some toxic women who think that they're better than everybody else based purely on their appearance. And they haven't done any work on their personality, and they go around treating others very badly. Naturally, that's going to make people upset. And then they'll want to humble her because that's their way of trying to get her to understand that she needs to treat people better. And I don't agree with that tactic. But some women do have a really inflated ego.
That is because there is a big difference between confidence and arrogance, and very few people see it in themselves. Ego is just a small 3-letter word, which can destroy a big 12-letter word called relationship. I think she has been cocky and overconfident and has gotten the truth. Men don't just do this unless they think they need to be humbled. It is always the all-men agenda, and then they try to gaslight if anyone refers to anything about the dangers of generalization by claiming all men do it to all women. Some women think they are better than anyone based on a script in their head. A truly beautiful and confident woman is generally admired by men. Many modern men have discovered how simple, peaceful, relaxed, and cheap life is without a relationship. She speaks for herself, and she definitely seems to be the arrogant type. I know a lady like that, and she got so mad at me because I chose to just not engage, so she quit our bowling team.
I think I'm attractive. I mean, is it because the eyes?
Some people find me attractive. I wouldn't say I'm societally objectively attractive. Come on. Some people are going to find you attractive. Do you fit that societal mode? No. Neither of us do. That's okay. We can accept it. We can accept reality without being offended and being sad. You're incorrect. I'm sorry. This is just societal, right? It's just like, there's objective, like, we don't belong on Love Island. Doesn't mean other people don't find us attractive, but we're allowed to. Listen, I'm so sick of this.
I mean, in the cosplay world,
there's not participation trophies on objective, like, societal metrics, right? It's like, I'm sorry, like, this whole ecosystem of people being like, oh, you're beautiful no matter what, it's not helping anything, because now we're just telling ourselves that we're beautiful when, no offense, I am objectively not societally attractive. And we can accept that. There are many people that find me attractive. There are many people that find you attractive.
But what does that have to do with anything?
Because what you are saying is you found other people that have a lot of debt and they're still finding people. They have something else that is making up for it.
Even though this girl is drowning in debt and clueless, can Caleb fix her finances?
Genuinely asking, what does her attractiveness on an objective standard have to do with her finances? There is some level of beauty where we all just agree that some people are good looking. Now, for some of these people it's very subjective, like if you showed her among one of my friend groups, you would be called a truck driver for a while. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, obviously. Everyone's opinion on someone's levels of beauty are different, but I also get what he means about being attractive by society's standards. He's not wrong, though. Women, of course, are going to find most women beautiful. But for men, she probably wouldn't be considered attractive society-wise, but that doesn't mean she's ugly. He's not calling her ugly, but she does not fit the beauty society standards, which is 100% true. Attractiveness is not a social construct. End of the day, he wants her to work hard and take responsibility of her spending, debts, etc., and to stop thinking someone is going to save her from the debts.
What is it with men trying to humble women? I have a feeling that it's nothing to do with her feeling like she's too much, but it has everything to do with him feeling like he's not enough. A woman that's shining her light, stepping into her power, and living freely has nothing to do with her feeling like she's too much. I feel like it just brings out a lot of insecurities in these men. Nothing is wrong with her having confidence. It's sad that y'all try to beat it out of them and make them feel less than. I mean, let's be honest. A woman that knows her worth may make that man feel like he's lacking something. A woman standing in her fullness is not her being arrogant. It's her standing in alignment. She's done the work. She's fought her battles and she's ready to live. And it's okay for her to honor herself. It's okay. Instead of trying to always humble a woman, try celebrating them, respecting them. And if you can't do neither, just step aside and mind your business. And to the women out there, keep showing up, baby. You're doing the damn thing, whether they like it or not. And if your confidence comes off as a threat to them, that's their business.
It has nothing to do with that, and generalizations of men when you haven't experienced all men is never okay. This is humbling. Nothing to do with a woman shining or having confidence. Most situations where men trying to humble women comes from a lack of accountability from women and women trying to belittle or disrespect a man or trying to generalize men and say this is what it is when you are completely off is why men are trying to correct women versus your misinterpretation of what you think men humbling a woman is. Real men don't compete with women in any kind of way, so for you to again generalize men and think that a woman having confidence, doing the work, know her worth and standing in her fullness is a problem that women have with other women, not a man feeling like he lacking something. 80% of women will divorce their husband once she has undergone a major career upgrade or physical upgrade, major diet, plastic surgery. This is because a woman will not marry down. If a woman feels like she is equal or better than a man, she will automatically disrespect him and no longer value him. I have seen it time after time of a woman who was doing good in life and would automatically treat a partner or potential partner as a less than. Meanwhile, a man will marry a woman with nothing and will go out of his way to build her up and build a life with her. So, the problem isn't men being intimidated by a girl boss. It's about a girl boss treating people like a less than if he isn't on her level or better.
Life is so funny because, like, one day you're living in a $10,000 a month apartment and, like, getting to do whatever you want and eating at Michelin star restaurants all the time and going on a vacation to the Aman Hotel in Sri Lanka and then extending the trip and going to Singapore and staying at the Ritz-Carlton. And you're with this man who you think you're going to marry, and he's made you financially dependent on him over the course of the relationship. And then you get into a fight one night and he turns ice cold and cuts you off financially completely, and you have no cards because you've been using his card, so you don't have any money on you. And while you're sleeping, has his friend go over to the apartment that you guys have shared since, like, the lease began and moved in together, and, like, it was our apartment. And has his friend pack up all of your stuff and then drop it outside of your friend's apartment in his hallway. Says find your way back to New York, and it's January, so when I get back to New York I will have technically nowhere permanent to live. And there's absolutely nothing I can do because I wasn't on the lease, and he was calculating in that. And obviously this is partially my fault for making the mistake of becoming financially dependent on someone when I really didn't need to. Like, I had a career, I had tons of friends, I was happy. Yeah, we'll see.
No, it sounds like he dodged the bullet and you should have shut the hell up. Honestly, that's what it sounds like. And I never hear any responsibility because, number one, people don't just go cold turkey. Even though I was taught a long time ago that love was like a light switch. I don't know how true that is, but the fact of the matter is you don't just have one small argument and you moved in with a person and a person just completely cuts you off and that's the end of it. No, it's some more context. It's something that you said. You thought you was bigger than what you was. You got out of pocket. You too arrogant to come back and apologize and humble yourself and say, no, I was wrong. And for whatever reason, you thought that y'all was equal and that y'all was partners. And the reality starts to set in and that y'all wasn't. And so then they want to say, well, I'm partially responsible for not having, for becoming, dependent on this person and all of that. Well, you're partially responsible for ruining a relationship and not keeping yourself humble enough to understand who the person was that was putting you in this position of power in the first place. You would have never experienced any of this stuff if it wasn't for him. You're not saying, listen, you are living a life of the 0.1% of the 1%. You are living, because see, it's a difference. And that's the thing that people don't understand. It's one thing to be a millionaire, and it's another thing to be a high earner. Because some people become millionaires through over a period of time, making strategic investments and being very, very disciplined and minimizing the amount of money that they spend on certain things that allow for them to accumulate a net worth of over $1 million. It's like 4 different classes of people that become millionaires or rich people. All right. Is that person, and then it's the person. I'm just going to have a conversation about 2 of them because it's applicable to this conversation. And then it's the person that is a millionaire, but they also are high earners. And it's a difference, right? Because a person that's a millionaire that has a net worth of that, and that's why they say a lot of millionaires, they don't show it. It's not that they can't if they want to maintain their status as a millionaire. There's other people that generate a whole lot of revenue and they still millionaires and they still make intentional investments and they're going to be rich forever and they can live a certain lifestyle. And that's the difference, is levels. And so what you are experiencing is the top 0.01% of lifestylers that allow for you to be able to take these trips and be able to go on out of your apartment and you just get back when you can and you can stay at the top hotels and all of this stuff. And you had to be humbled. You had to be humbled. God had to let you know that you were in a great position and you fumbled it. And so instead of all of the people in your comments telling you, yeah, see, this is why you need your own and all of that. No, the lesson here is that you should have shut the hell up. And I don't know how many times that I got to tell women this. You look better with your mouth closed. Honest to God. And I'm not talking about if you are a newscaster or a podcaster or something like that. I'm talking about in your regular everyday life. When you are dealing with men that are up here, they don't tolerate the same things that men that are not up here financially and resourceful tolerate. At any moment, it's like, who are you talking to? You know what I'm saying? So you got to remain humble in the ones that know how to move around these certain type of people. And you had an opportunity and you blew it. And so now you want to try to make the excuse like, oh man, no, I should have been more prepared. No, you should have just done things differently. And then you could have got to the finish line, but it sounds like he dodged a bullet. But on the flip side, here's a woman that's also talking about what it's like to break up with a certain level of man. Check it out.
I don't hear a lot of people talking about how different breakups feel when you start dating like higher echelon men and higher value men. Like when you're dating like an average guy or even like a below average guy, you guys break up and like there's shit you can hate on. You can think like, wow, he was a loser, he like was a bum, he had no drive in his life, he didn't have a job, he was a horrible boyfriend, whatever. But when you date upper level men and then have to go through breakups with them, you can't say any of that shit. The guy you were dating was educated, made lots of money, had an amazing job, took care of himself, looks good, is tall, etc., and has lots of options. Like there's nothing you can attack for your own ego. And on top of that, a lot of people in breakups love to be like, well, they're gonna regret that. They're gonna regret fumbling. No, you won't. But when you're dating higher value men, they probably won't. Because they can replace you like that. So yeah, I've raised my standard and I'm dating like way better guys now, but going through breakups with them is not for the weak.
And I think that people need to understand that when you start to get to a higher level, and this should be motivation for the guys, forget the women. We don't really care about what they're saying right here. They're just used as an example so that we can illustrate a point. Guys, when you start to raise your standard, and the way that you raise your standard is not by leading with money to make sure that women want to talk to you. That's not what we're talking about here. What I'm talking about is raising your standard for how you carry yourself, focusing on your growth, focusing on your own pocketbooks, focusing on, continuing to level up and become the best version of yourself. You don't worry about the same things that other guys worry about. You don't chase women. You're not even focused on that. Every guy that I know that gets to a certain level in life, resourceful and financially, they are not worried about women, not even a little bit. They are worried 100% about when their next opportunity is, when they're going to close their next deal. And of course, you're going to have some dusties that scatter about and say, oh man, shouldn't worry about money and all of that. Shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Because everybody cares about money. And if you're a man and you're not resourceful, then that means that you truly aren't living up to your potential and you're settling for what is available. And I'm not even saying that you got to be super rich, but what I am saying is that you got to put your best foot forward, and then ultimately you'll be rewarded as a result of it. When you're not resourceful and you rely on just being average or being okay with being that way because you see everybody else around you, you've become a victim of your culture, a victim of your environment, a victim of what everybody else is expecting of everybody else. But in reality, We want greater. We went to sleep dreaming of that Lamborghini, that Countach, that Diablo on our wall. At least I did. At least that's what the people from my environment was dreaming about. Maybe some of them didn't reach that, but it didn't mean that wasn't what our goals are. And then we go and we grow up, and that's when adulthood, when life started kicking in, that's where dreams go to die. But when you get to a certain level, honest to God, when you get to a certain level, you got a different level of problems, but it won't be women. It won't be being satisfied. It won't be opportunity. It won't be any of that. And you'll start to raise your standards around the people that you then deal with, and people will treat you differently. Your network will treat you differently because you'll have a different group of people. You'll level up. You'll be more motivated. The type of women that you're around and the people that work for you will be different. Everybody will start to think a little bit differently, and they'll start to treat you differently, not necessarily because you're spending money on them, but because you have a higher standard for yourself, and you then require that from everybody else that's around you. These women are getting it, and they adapting, and they always adapt as they get older. Sometimes they miss the boat, but they absolutely adapt, and they looking at you, and they paying attention, and they know where to rank certain people. They understand what the game is. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Teach Hanley, 40% off the first order plus 20% off of life. It's always another you. Never be another me.
She didn't get kicked out. She got fired for insubordination. He made you financially dependent on him, and that's her fault. Never ever depend on a man. Make your own money and set your own boundaries. If you can be bought, you can be sold. She thought his success was also her success. He built her up so high she thought she was running the show, and he put her in her place. I don't understand how women think, because why would you be fighting with someone who pays for everything? A high earner recognizes a bad investment. Packed all her things and dropped them off at the friend's apartment she's sleeping at in his hallway. Well, it is over then. She thought she was the prize, when in turn he was. Long story short, she got into an argument, forgot her place, and immediately got replaced. I knew she was after his money, got greedy, and got sent off. We have come to end of today's video. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section. See you all next time, and thanks for always watching.